This podcast is brought to you by Coke, Am First, Buffalo Wild Wings, Southern Immediate Care, Ann's Quilts, Guaranteed Labels, Central State Bank, and Sunrise Docks. Now, back to Bubba on the Lake.
Hey, it's Bubba, Bubba, Bubba on the lake. This is Bubba, Bubba on the lake. Yeah, he's got it going on. Gotta come and check this. Talking people, talking places from Bubba's perspective. This is Bubba, Bubba on the lake. Hey, Bubba, Bubba on the lake. Let's go.
Well, hello and welcome back to Bubba on the Lake. I'm your semi-retired, mostly washed-up host, formerly of the Rick and Bubba Show, now your official host of Bubba on the Lake. Welcome back. We're in the Mellow Yellow studio. We have a very busy show. We do need to remind you that our website is bubbaonthelake.com. And, of course, our message line at 308-BIG-LAKE. That's 308-244-5253, or as I like to say it, 308-BIG-LAKE. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot to cover. It's been a very busy week. We've had several things going on. I need to get Betty's comments on a few of them. So as we develop the show, see, sometimes it doesn't happen in the same order that we put it on the podcast. So it's it is a process. We're learning and trying to get all that dialed in. But I appreciate the emails. A lot of great support out there. I appreciate the calls. We'll try to sample them again a little later in the show. We will have our first tech segment with our guest technologist, Stuart Brockwell from Surge Technologies, and he's going to talk about several things going on in the headlines that you need to know about. Mr. Sports himself, Gene Hallman, will be along, and that's going to be a big discussion. Many of you have been emailing wanting to know who we're playing with in the Pro-Am this year. So we'll have an update on that and a whole lot of other things going on. It's just been real busy. We've had a in-water boat show here at the lake, which is one of my favorite weekends of the year, by the way, because you get to see all the cool new boats, and even though you're not going to buy them, you get to go out and check them out and all that stuff. We usually have that at Willow Point, and they have a really cool setup for that. It's a venue where they have other things like weddings and dances and all that, and it's set up right on the water. And they usually set up these tables, and everybody's right on the water. I mean, and it's kind of stair step, so the tables in the back can see, and they put quite a spread on, and the boats come out. We've talked about this before. They come out and it's like a catwalk. They have a guy telling you about the boat, and it spins around, goes back, and it's really cool. I always enjoy it. One of our favorite nights of the year. Well, this year they moved the boat show to one of the marinas because some construction is going on at Willow Point, and it was at the Ridge Marina this year at Lake Martin. And it was a little different setup, so I really didn't know what to expect. And it's not set up, I don't think, as good as Willow Point for those kind of events. It's got a lot of room, but it's just kind of a different setup. So we went to that, and it was a little bit different. The weather was not cooperating, and at one point we had a storm come through, and we had to run for our life. But other than that, a very lovely evening. We get to see a lot of folks driving up on their golf carts, which is always fun. And, other things that retired and semi-retired people do that we somehow find entertaining. But we'll try to talk to Betty about that also, because she was involved in that, and she doesn't take running for your life from storms as well as I do usually. So, and she was a little upset about being wet when we had to drive the golf cart home. And we did get a little bit wet, but if you hear her tell the story, you would think we had to get in the lake and swim home. but we'll try to cover that just a little bit later. Several other things going on. We'll tell you about it as those roll in, but we're going to take a quick break here and get back and do a little tech talk with Stuart Brockwell, good friend of mine. Very, very smart guy, and he's going to cover several things that's going on in the news right now that might affect you and several other technical issues. So, again, thank you for being part of Bubba on the Lake. We appreciate it, and we will be right back with that Tech Talk.
It's Bubba on the Lake. Bubba on the Lake.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Looking for that beautiful quilt or other fabulous gifts? Check out Ann's Quilt and Country Store in Rogersville. Come see Miss Kim for all your quilting needs. She does custom quilts, memory and t-shirt quilts, and will also quilt your quilt top. There are gifts for women, babies, and even knives for the menfolk. Visit Miss Kim at Ann's Quilt, 1614 Lee Street in historic downtown Rogersville, Alabama. Call 256-483-2276 or search the store on Facebook and Google.
Everybody, we've had a lot of requests that we get back and do some technical issues, and I always love that, being a technology major myself. But I wanted to bring in some real pros, some people who I rely on when I need stuff, and to share some of their knowledge with you. And in our very first Tech Talk segment, our technologist is Stuart Brockwell from Surge Technologies in Birmingham. Stuart, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Bubba. How are you today?
Stuart, I'm great, and Stuart is a pretty smart cookie. I'll tell you, when I really need something done and I need it done right, I call Stuart. He's usually in high demand, so I have to wait in line. But when I get him, I am always satisfied with the end product. Stuart, thank you so much. You've helped me on many fronts, and it looks like we've probably got some more we're going to have to tackle.
It has been fun. The last few projects we worked on have been real fun. I will say though, I'm less excited to get up on your roof, because the last time I tell you what, if you've been to Bubba's Lake House, you know that angle of his yard is it's something with the ladder. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, there is no slowing down. If you slip, you're gone.
No, you're either in the water or on the ground. It's not going to be good.
Stuart, tell us about Tesla. I'm having some truck problems at the moment, and I am thinking about getting something else to be a backup or be a mainline vehicle right now. What is going on with Tesla? Catch us up.
So with Tesla right now, Elon, of course, being very politically active at the moment, has been a little bit less involved with the company. Although with their earnings call yesterday, he's kind of talked about getting back into operations as they move into the big push toward unsupervised full self-driving, which is going to be starting up in June in Austin, Texas, and in San Francisco, where they're going to have Model Y and their new Cybercab vehicles operating autonomously. As most people know, Teslas can drive themselves. They have been able to do that for a while now, but they've always required a driver to be present. But they're moving toward that unsupervised full autonomy.
Stuart, let me ask you, how do you feel about the self-driving part of that? Are you comfortable turning that over to a computer?
I think it depends on the situation, and also it depends on how they're doing it. I'm sure some of you heard of, maybe Bubba, you've heard of Waymo, the robo-taxis in certain cities that exist.
Right.
The way that Tesla's handling it with everything is end-to-end neural network. It's all vision-based. The Teslas drive themselves the same way that we drive, with our eyes and our senses. They don't use lasers or scanners. There's not a lot of actual technology in it. It's mostly software. And it's why it's taken them so long to do it, because it's taken them, years to gather the data necessary to build a brain, so to speak, that can drive like a human. So yes, I would trust it if it's implemented the right way, and I think Tesla's doing it properly.
Computers can always fail. Sensors can always fail. Gosh knows we know that with my truck right now. But I have to say this, riding with other people and seeing how they drive, I think I trust the computer more than I do them.
You make a really solid point. A lot of people feel that same way, although I've seen a lot of really interesting clips of Tesla vehicles because they're trained on human behavior. They have some weird emergent behavior where sometimes they'll like creep up at a red light right before it turns green, almost as if they're anticipating it like you or I would. It's really weird. Talking about your question about your truck, obviously the Cybertruck is a very polarizing vehicle, but the news recently on that is, they've released the Cybertruck rear-wheel drive, which is like the budget model for the Cybertruck. And if you want to call 69,000 or 62 after the tax credit budget, then I suppose it is. Most people would not. But the problem with the thing, I was really hoping, I signed up for the Cybertruck pre-order way back in 2018 or whenever they first announced the thing. And that's back when they said, the rear-wheel drive version is going to be $39,900. Well, $69,900 is a far cry from $39,900.
Yeah, especially for us $39,900 drivers.
Yeah, I mean, you can go and get you a Ram, 3500 optioned well over $100K. That's not weird.
Sure.
But it's not what they promised. And the biggest thing that weirds me out is that the thing, you don't really gain a whole lot. You lose a lot of features. They took away the air suspension and the adjustable ride height and that cool mechanical bed cover, and they took away a lot of the features that made the Cybertruck futuristic. It still has the steer-by-wire and all the software that makes Teslas cool, but you lose. You're saving $10,000 and you're losing what I would consider a lot of what makes the vehicle special. So I'm not sure what they're trying to do there. I think if I had to take a guess, and I'm kind of assuming Elon's playing 4D chess here, but who knows? I think they're probably pushing people to buy the more expensive one by saying, the cheaper one exists, but I lose so much stuff, I might as well, spend the extra $10,000 to get the all-wheel drive model or whatever. I think it's probably a business strategy.
Yeah, Elon is usually about 3 steps ahead of the market, so... and apparently my dog is agreeing. It's a big fan of the Cybertruck, as you can hear it now in the background. Stuart, we got Stuart Brockwell with Surge Technologies with us. And Stuart, talk a little bit about Microsoft. I know they've got a big upgrade coming out to Windows 11. And you know my history. I'm not a big Microsoft Windows fan. I'm pretty much a Mac Apple guy. I have to deal with it some, but is this going to be an improvement, or what's really going on here with Windows 11? Because I know it's a big change for them.
Well, the change is not really so much the experience; it's how they're framing it. Because Windows, for those, you're basically 100% Mac at the podcast studio there, right?
Yeah, I have one PC that I have to use that I'm playing with a piece of automation software in it, and I do that only because it's only available on the PC. But I'd prefer the Mac for me personally.
Right, and there's a lot of logic to using Macs for audio video stuff, but for as far as PCs go, Microsoft is retiring Windows 10 on October, I believe it's 25th. It's middle or late October of this year, and when they do that, Windows 11 is going to become the only available OS they have out there. And a lot of people, including myself, are not happy about that because I don't care for the changes of 11. It's gotten better since they've released it. It's been out for a couple of years now. But 10, removing 10 is a big deal because they are now mandating, as of a couple weeks ago, it might have even been a week ago, they are mandating cloud subscriptions for every PC user that uses Windows. And that doesn't matter if you go to Best Buy or Walmart and buy your computer, or if you're a nerd like me and you build your own. You're going to end up where you are required to sign up for a Microsoft account and link your computer to the cloud. That means they have some access to your data. It means they could potentially access your device. Security issues, all kinds of stuff crop up. And they've been pushing for this sort of mandatory cloud linking for years now, but there's always been workarounds. There's always been, you can click here and, hold this key or whatever, you can get out of it. But now they've locked it down. They've removed all of the workarounds that people have been using, and they're basically saying, sorry, if you want Windows, you have to connect it with us.
So, Stuart, let me ask you this, and, on a level that all of us can understand, Windows has historically had security issues that Mac has not had because of its basic operating system and what it's built on. Is Windows 11 going to be more secure? And it sounds like with mandatory cloud subscription, that even opens the door for other things. But, the endless supply of patches and this and that, it kind of gets old sometimes.
It does, and Windows, you're right. Windows has historically had more issues with security than Mac. Although, and this may ruffle some feathers of some Mac purists out there. I love, and to be fair, I love Macs too. I have lots of Macs and PCs both. But the reason that Apple has historically had less security issues than Windows is not because the OS is inherently more secure. We could argue that all day long. It's because the market share. Like it or not, Windows has a vastly greater market share globally than Mac does. And so, even though Apple products are great, they're more expensive. And so if I'm a hacker wanting to, steal as much money as possible or damage as many systems as possible as I can, I'm going to write my malware for Windows because it's just the greater market share. It isn't that Macs are inherently more secure on its own. It's that they're not the primary target if I'm trying to hurt the most people possible. But you're right. Enforcing cloud subscriptions, even if they don't cost anything, even if it's a free plan or whatever, is very weird. And outside of Microsoft's character, that's almost an Apple thing. Apple's usually very much, you got to be in our ecosystem type of thing. But even if I go buy a Mac today, I don't have to link it with an Apple account. It won't require me to do that. It's gonna insist, but it's not going to require it. Microsoft has stepped a little bit into no man's land here, where they're requiring something that's never been asked of consumers before. To even get past the setup, you can't even browse the web without linking it to the cloud.
Stuart, let me ask you this. It's a little bit off the topic of where I wanted to go, but we mentioned Elon and Tesla a minute ago. I get more questions about Starlink than I do anything else. And I know you install a lot of those. You have, last I saw, you had a mobile setup. Catch everybody up to date on Starlink a little bit, and how good is that, and what kind of, response and downloads are they getting, and are you hearing customers that are satisfied with it?
Oh yeah, we did obviously the one at your lake house as your backup internet. I've done 2 or 3 of them this year already for larger clients, and I do have a mobile Starlink Mini in my Jeep as well as my go anywhere mobile assault station essentially. But yeah, every single one I've installed, I've never gotten a complaint. The only thing we've ever had to do is go realign one if somebody moves it. They're dead simple to set up. The instructions that come with them are just pictographs. There's not even any English on it.
Yeah, it looks like a caveman drew it on a inside of a cave, doesn't it? I thought that was funny.
I think the way Elon put it was the 2 steps to install: turn it on and point it at the sky, and not necessarily in that order. The speeds have been excellent. And of course, if you follow it, as Starlink satellites continue to be brought up into orbit. They're adding dozens of them a year, possibly even hundreds a year. I'm not sure what their rate of launch is these days, but they're sending new ones up constantly. The bigger the network becomes, the faster the speeds are going to get. And they're, as soon as they get, a lot of you nerds have probably seen I know you have, Bubba, you've seen the Starship. They're huge. SpaceX is huge.
Oh, yeah.
Cargo ship. They've been doing test flights of that thing. And as soon as that thing is ready for launch, for actual missions, they're going to be able to bring their second-generation satellites into orbit, which are about 3 times larger than their current ones. And those are going to facilitate Starlink speeds doubling or even tripling in the next few months after they're launched.
So what kind of download speeds are you seeing right now? Just so everybody will know how to compare it.
So it depends on where you're located. I've got a setup out in Mentone, a friend of mine out in Mentone, Alabama, which anybody who lives out there knows that you can barely make a phone call, much less get internet. We're getting down out there between 200 and 300 megabit per second up and download, which is excellent. And then in more congested areas, I've got a couple places downtown we're servicing with Starlink, and we get between 150 and 200 where it's more congested. But you can pretty easily assume 200 to 300 megabit per second is going to be what you get. The mini Starlink, the one I've got in my Jeep, is a little bit slower. You typically see between 50 and 100 megabit less than the big one. But you have the added benefit that you can run it off of a phone charger pretty much. So it just depends on your use case. But I strongly recommend, if you're going to pick one of these up, spend the time. The app walks you through it. Obviously you go to YouTube. There's tutorials on it, but just take the time to align the thing correctly. It takes 5 minutes to do, and it makes the difference between getting 80 to 100 megabits all to the 100, 300 mark.
So, Stuart, if I end up with a Jeep, I may be talking to you about getting that mobile set up, because I sure like that one you had.
It's cool that with the Mini being so small, you just throw it in my bag. I've actually been carrying it out to jobs I've been doing before we get, during new construction jobs, before we get internet to the site. We just throw that thing out there, use it to set stuff up. It's good.
How far Wi-Fi can you get from your Jeep when you do that?
Between 50 and 100 feet as far as I've ever tested it. But the way that I do it is I just plug an Ethernet cord into the Starlink Mini and drop that to whatever I'm trying to power. So the Mini's got an Ethernet jack on it, and that means I can go anywhere as long as I've got a cable. I can go there.
We're talking to Stuart Brockwell from Surge Technologies in Birmingham. He's been our first technologist on Tech Talk. Stuart, thank you for taking time to be with us. We've got some other topics we want to cover, but we'll stop right here at this point, and we'll pick that up again next time. But thank you for being on Bubba on the Lake.
Absolutely. Look forward to being here next time.
You're listening to Bubba. Whoa. Bubba on the Lake.
Attention business owners, print buyers, and production managers. Guaranteed Labels is here to help you focus less on your printing, labels, and decals, and more on growing your business. Guaranteed Labels, your dependable printer for all types of industries. Quality, on-time shipments, and stock programs set us apart. If you're needing to focus less on your printing and more on your business, trust Guaranteed Labels. 800-741-7055 or GuaranteedLabels.com. Guaranteed Labels, still sticking since 1988.
The perfect checking account does not exist. At least, not at a bank. At AmFirst, you can get no minimum balance or monthly fees, an instant issue debit card, and free checks with unlimited check writing. But who doesn't want more? Like a rewards program you'll actually use, and convenient digital tools that make it easy to manage your account from anywhere. That's what you'll find at AmFirst. Only available for qualifying members. AmFirst is federally insured by the NCUA.
Well, we've been trying trying to track him down. We have Mr. Sports himself making his first ever appearance on Bubba on the Lake, Gene Hallman. Gene, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Bubba. This is great finally to talk to you, and I've always loved the lake. I mean, that's my favorite place.
Well, listen, it's lovely, and you and Jennifer can come anytime you would like.
Well, we'll take you up on that. We may come tomorrow night if that's okay.
Yeah, we'll be here. Lord willing, we'll be here. So you like the scheduling process on these podcasts?
Well, it's like you've called me 4 times, and every single time it's like 30 seconds notice. Are you ready? Can you do it right now?
Hey, welcome to the podcast scheduling world.
And 3 of those times I was actually in the airport. No kidding.
Oh, I know. I timed it perfect. I try to get you when you're actually going through the door to get on the airplane, or in the security line. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we connected this time, and like I said, I'm honored to be on the podcast.
Well, it's the first. I hope it will not be the last. And, really, based on what I have seen, I think Jennifer and Betty ought to do one.
I think they would have a ball, and it would be very entertaining.
Some of the best entertainment I've had at the Regions over the years was Betty and Jennifer riding in the golf cart with me. Hey, we
could have mic'd that and made $1 million.
Hey, you don't think me and you took a beating on that?
Oh my gosh.
It was not pretty. Well, Gene, I know you've got the premier golf tournament coming up, the whole golfing experience in the Southeast. How many years is this you've been doing the Regions?
33 years.
Are you kidding? Has it been that long, really?
It really has. I was 32 when I started, and I was the youngest tournament director on the senior tour at the time, and now I'm the oldest tournament director on the Champions Tour.
Well, you're a senior now.
Yeah, well, when I started, I thought about those guys 50 and over as being ancient.
Right.
And now I think they're young kids when they turn 50.
Oh, well, Gene, I know it'll be a great event. It always is. What do everybody have to look forward to this year? What is going to be happening at the Regions?
Well, we're 1 week later on the calendar, so that's thrown a few people off. We're not opposite Mother's Day because mothers are undefeated,
right.
And we decided we just did not need to go up on Mother's Day on that Sunday of the tournament. So we're 1 week later. It's more of the same, except maybe a little bit better. Things have gotten bigger. Corporate sponsorships are up. Ticket sales are tracking ahead. We've got lots of celebrities in the Pro-Am. We've got a great field of professionals. We should end up raising a lot of money for charity, and it should be a great success.
Gene, I know that Children's Hospital benefits from this. How much money have you guys donated over those 33 years? I mean, I know it's a tremendous amount.
It's $22 million to charity, with Children's being the biggest beneficiary of these funds. And it's a very rewarding part of the job, Bubba. You work really hard on the tournament, and you're focused on entertaining folks and making sure they have a good time. But after all the dust settles and the numbers are added up, you are then able to hand out significant dollars to charity, and that's really impactful to me personally. The older I get, the more I enjoy that. Because when you go to a place like Children's Hospital, you can't walk through that place without being touched in a very significant way. And we're trying to do our part, and the community has stepped up and supported us. The corporate Birmingham has gotten behind this golf tournament in a huge way.
Well, Gene, everybody, I mean, they know Children's does a great job, and most of us have had to use Children's at some point or another if you had children. But when you meet some of those kids when they're out there on the first tee and you really put a face to that, it makes it very personal, and you see what a difference it really makes.
It does, and when Coach Saban was still coaching and more serious than he is these days, I'll never forget that image in my brain of when he went to meet the child on the first tee that was assigned to him. She was about 4 years old, and she was in a wheelchair, and she looked up at him with these big, beautiful eyes and said, "Would you play with this golf ball that she had in her hand today?" And here's this very iconic, stoic coach that melted like butter on a hot skillet, and he took her ball and played with it, teeing off on the first tee, and it's cool to see the Barkleys of the world and Bo Jacksons of the world, how they bow down to a child, and especially those that are struggling. They've either been in the hospital recently or they were in the past year in order to qualify for this Children's Ambassador program that we have at the golf tournament. So it's very significant, a very significant part of why Region sponsors this golf tournament.
Gene, tell us about some of the celebrities that will be there that we can see at the pro-am.
Well, we start with Riley Green.
Yep.
A guy that you know well.
Yep.
That goes to that played quarterback at your school, I believe.
He did a little everything up there.
He has taken off like a hot firecracker, and he is, I think, one of the hottest country acts in the country. He's playing with Jamie Johnson this year, another country performer that loves golf more than Riley does.
Also a Jack State alum.
Yep. And then we've got the coach, Senator Tommy Tuberville, in that same group.
Now, are we going to have to change his name to Coach Senator Governor?
I think it will be a five-part name, Coach Senator Governor Tommy Tuberville. Word is, and I'm certainly that's going to be the first question I ask him when I see him, is indeed the story's true that you're going to be our next governor? Because if he throws his hat in the ring, he'll be tough to beat. And then you've got Coach Saban and DeBoer. You've got Coach Freeze, Coach Oates, Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron, Charles Barkley, Bo Jackson, Condoleezza Rice. I know I'm missing a handful, but that's a pretty good lineup of celebrities that most tournaments don't do this. They don't bring out the celebrities on Wednesday. They sell the spots to businessmen, to corporate America. But what we do is we do that, then encourage our sponsors to give a spot back to a celebrity so that their customers can enjoy playing with a pro and a celebrity, and then it enhances the tournament experience because fans now come out and see these celebrities get humbled by the game of golf. It's really something that started in the second year of the tournament, Bubba, when I invited Barkley to play with Chi-Chi, and the crowds were enormous. And it was an aha moment the next year when Jordan was playing baseball here in Birmingham. We paired him with Charles, and then from there it became who's playing in the Pro-Am more than who's playing in the tournament. So we kept raising the bar and just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Have you been surprised at the celebrity status of Charles Barkley, how it's taken off just being on coverage of basketball? I think much bigger now than he ever was just playing.
Oh, absolutely. I am blown away. I would say he's the most significant media personality in our country, sports media in our country. I can't think of anyone that's any bigger. He is, you know him well, Bubba. He's just a very bright, quick-witted guy that's got a really good heart, and he's got little to no filter, which is what makes it so beautiful.
Yeah, gee, where's Bubba at? No, I've seen him just transform the way He deals with the crowds, and early on maybe a little standoffish, just maybe a little moody. But I tell you, the last 10 years he has been like the welcome wagon out there. I mean, he cannot greet people enough.
He wades into the sea of humanity when there are crowds. He embraces it unlike any other celebrity I've ever seen. The closest I've ever seen was Coach Bobby Bowden. He did the same thing. He embraced the crowd and loved to see the people. But Charles, you're right. In the last 10 years, and I'll give him credit, 10 years ago, his golf game was legendary bad.
Yeah, oh yeah. And it hurt to watch it.
Well, he still came to the tournament. He still put up with all the hazing he got because of his poor golf game, and he kept plowing ahead. And I gave him major props for playing in those days when golf was clearly no fun for him. But he went through a series of coaches, and he found a coach that fixed his golf swing, and now he's a pretty doggone good player.
Gene, tell us about some of the actual pros that will be there. Who are we looking at this year?
Well, we've got 7 Hall of Famers in the field.
Wow.
We've got Bernhard Langer, who's one of my favorite. He's the all-time winningest player on the Champions Tour.
And a super guy.
Oh, just an incredible guy. You got Ernie Els, another great guy. You got Florence's Stuart Saint, who won the British Open, who's going to be playing. You've got Corey Pavin. You've got Padraig Harrington.
Will Striker be back?
Yeah, Stricker.
Stricker. It's late at night, Gene. No, I played with him twice. He is a lot of fun, and he won the tournament. I want to say
3 out of 4 years.
Yeah, he won it both years.
Stricker Invitational there for a while. He won it 3 out of 4 years and finished second that 1 year that he didn't win. So he will be returning. He loves Greystone, obviously.
Yeah.
Ryder Cup captain. Won about 20 times on the PGA Tour. So, yeah, he's a huge draw.
So, Gene, to get tickets to get to the event, what do people need to do?
It's simple. RegionsTradition.com. Kids 15 and under get in free. The tickets are very, very affordable. It's a social event, Bubba. You've been there virtually every year, if not every year. And it's a social event as well as a great golf tournament. You don't have to love golf in order to come out and enjoy this golf tournament.
Well, I will say this. You've taken care of us in past years, and getting to play with some of the legends I've got to play with. Chi-Chi, you mentioned him. There's just so many of them. Fuzzy Zeller, who we laughed so much that year we couldn't even hardly hit a golf ball. He took my golf ball. You remember he took my golf ball and threw it in the woods. Because I was playing with a yellow ball, and I teed it up on the second tee, and he ran up and got it and threw it in the woods. Said, "This ain't putt-putt. Use a real ball." And, everybody on the tour is using funny-colored balls now.
They are. You were just ahead of your time, Bubba.
Well, he set that up because he gave me his golf balls and said, "Play with these."
There you go.
And they were stamped.
Well, I love the year that you hit the same guy twice.
Gene, we still talk about that. I was talking to a statistics professor about that, and he said the chances of that are so rare. He said, you're more apt to hit by lightning 3 times in the same day than do that.
You're more apt to make a hole in one than hit the same person twice on 2 different holes.
That guy wasn't really buying into the stats. He seemed a little perturbed, but, it happens.
I think he left and went home.
Yeah, he needed to. I mean, come on. What's next? Could a tree go fall on him? No, we've had a lot of fun, and it's a great event. Everybody enjoys coming out, and, the kids, they have lemonade stands, and, the folks around the course, they come out and welcome everybody that comes through, and it's just a great event. If you've never been to it, I would urge you to go check it out. If you've been to it before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You probably already got plans.
Well, Ticket sales, like I said earlier, are trending ahead. I think we're going to have large crowds this year, and I like the fact that we're not up against Mother's Day. So we're looking forward to a great 33rd edition of the tournament that Paul Feinbaum said when it was first announced would not last 3 years.
Well, not the only prediction he's missed on. If you notice, they never come back, and it's like weathermen. They never come back and claim their mistakes they made.
No, he long since forgot that one.
Long gone, way back.
But I remind him every year that he comes that, yeah, Paul, I think we're like 30 years over your time frame that you thought this tournament would survive.
Well, Gene, thank you for taking time, and I appreciate it. Good to talk to you again, and I hope this will not be the last appearance of Gene Hallman on Bubba on the Lake.
I would love to come back, and anytime you want to give me 15-second notice to come on the podcast, just do so.
Hey, that's the world we live in, New World Order. Thanks, Gene. Tell Jennifer we said hey.
All right. You tell Betty as well. Thanks,
Will do.
Bubba.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We'll be right back.
You know one thing I love about Buffalo Wild Wings? You can get wings with any of their 26 sauces and dry rubs for takeout and delivery. That's like bringing an entire B-dubs home with you, which you can't do. I tried. I've knocked down so many walls, only to then be told to halt construction because I'm not zoned to be a sports bar. Kinda just looks like a big pergola or something because of the lack of walls. At least these 26 sauces and dry rubs are available to go. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At Central State Bank, we believe community banking is more than just transactions. It's about relationships. For over 100 years, we've been helping neighbors grow, businesses thrive, and dreams become reality. Because when you bank local, you invest in your community. Central State Bank, large enough to serve you, small enough to know you. Visit us today or learn more at centralstatebank.com. Member FDIC.
It's Bubba on the Lake. Bubba on the Lake.
Well, you've asked for it, and we've brought it back. Betty on the back porch. Betty, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, we're not on the back porch, though. It was too hot, so we came inside.
Yeah, well, we can see the back porch, or kind of we can see the lake from here.
Yeah, we thought about doing it later, but it's kind of warm out there today. And our porch faces the west, so there's a little window of time. It gets pretty warm out there. Most of the time, it's real nice, but there's a little window that it's a little tough out there. So we decided to come in and have it where it's nice and cool. And the barkers are in here, and they're ready to go. I'm sure they will erupt at some time during this. Betty, I had told the folks on the podcast a little bit about the boat show and the fact we had to change it up this year. And we like the old format so much. You really didn't care for this one, right?
Well, I think the main thing was I had looked at the forecast. It normally is in the neighborhood up the street from here, which is
Willow Point, yeah.
Right. And they have a restaurant there, and a little bit.
But they're doing construction, so they moved it.
Right, yeah.
But so it was set up for that.
Yeah. So anyway, I had looked at the forecast. Everything's outside, right? It's a boat show.
Right.
So chance of storms around 6:15. And I mentioned it to you. Might not want to take the golf cart like we planned. Might want to take a vehicle. Well, the parking, the walking, all this. So,
I've got a bad foot right now.
Yes.
Achilles.
I don't know if y'all have heard about that. I have quite a bit.
Killing me.
Quite a bit.
I'm about ready to cut it off and go with the blade, honestly.
I'm about ready for you to now. We've been dealing with this since the end of October, maybe 1st of November.
Yeah,
something like that.
December for sure, yeah.
Definitely December, yeah. When we attempted to run through the Atlanta airport. Yeah, that was very obvious. But anyway, we take the golf cart, folks, and we're there for, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, had a nice meal, and, talked with some friends, and then the lightning and wind
Yeah, the
came.
storm front hit, and
Yes.
it went from, I mean, it was cloudy. We knew there was a threat, but it went from 0 to 60 real quick, and we basically was running for our life. And you were not happy about having to come home in the golf cart with it misting rain.
Well, no, it wasn't misting. It was pouring rain. We had to buy beach towel. Thank goodness they sold beach towels in the marina we were standing in.
You were kind of acting like we had to get in the water and swim. It wasn't that bad.
Oh, good.
I wasn't
I
soaking
was
wet.
not acting that bad.
Huh?
I was not acting like
Well,
that.
you're
But
so
anyway.
sweet. You'll melt when you get
Well,
wet.
you know, I had washed my hair and styled it. And you women out there, you know how that is. If you don't like to wash your hair, unless I'm going to be sweating or something, sometimes I don't wash my hair, you know, every day. So it's an ordeal when
This
you
is-
try to get ready for somebody. And
This is spinning
you know.
into a segment of Betty Say What.
you remember even when I wanted, and I think I asked you, who are you? You married me, almost 36 years ago, and I'm the same person. I didn't like to be out in humidity then, or rain.
You hadn't changed a bit.
Or whatever. I really didn't. I remember the bussy fish fry when we were dating, and it almost caused me to hesitate. You know what I mean? I'm like, do I really want to keep going out with this guy that has a bussy fish fry? You know, or whatever. I mean, and it was like outside at 150 degrees,
Well,
you
yeah,
know.
Yeah. Most
And,
of those people were raised without air conditioning.
I know, yeah. Well, I
All
was
my
at,
aunts
to
and
some
uncles.
to some point. I
Yeah.
was too. But anyway, I didn't have a perm either then. But anyway, which I don't now. But still, I think the hormonal changes have caused a frizz. But go ahead.
Well, we
That's
have
all on that.
flipped because I used to always be hot, and now I'm cold,
I
and you used to be
burn up
cold, and now you're hot.
all the time.
Well, you are hot, but
Well, no, I am always burning up. But our bed, we have a sleep number bed, and it is a number one because it's got the cool, it's the climate something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We should do a commercial for them because I'm telling you right now. Did you hear that? But anyway, hello, sleep number. Anyway, it's
It
the
really-
climate control.
It's an incredible piece of equipment.
It is.
They're expensive, but, you know, we talked about it, and, you know, sleep is one of the great battles we fight,
Yeah.
you know, and have for a long time. Getting up early and all that. So, not as bad now, but still, it's, you know, if I don't have my sleep, I ain't on the game, you know.
Yeah. So you've got yours on the foot warmer, and I have mine on the cool thing.
Yeah.
For several hours. Yeah.
And we're all under the same cover.
Well, I throw mine off usually. You're under the cover.
freezing in there.
So.
Oh,
anyway.
goodness. So, also, I wanted to catch you up, Betty, and we're glad to have you here in the Mellow Yellow studio since we went inside. This first time we've done it this way, done the podcast this way.
Yeah. Sure is.
Be clear. And, okay.
All righty.
Peanut Gallery.
It's all right.
So, I don't even know what I was going to talk about now. I'm completely lost
We're
my
in the
train of
Mellow
thought.
Yellow studio.
Right,
We're
that's
not
it.
outside.
That's
Yeah.
it. And I also talked to Gene Hallman a few minutes ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And
How is he?
he's good. They're all good. And I know you were asking me several questions about who I was playing with in the pro-am.
Yeah. Well, I assumed you weren't playing because I've seen you try to walk lately.
Well,
You
you're
know.
correct. I am not.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
not invited.
Yeah. Thanks, Gene.
Well, I feel like Gene probably knew. You know, every year I have major foot, back injuries
Sure,
about this
it's
time of
knee,
year.
back,
It's usually
hip.
when I'm out practicing golf because I don't play that much.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I even dropped a few hints. If you listen to it, I'll tell him how much fun I've had and all the people I played with. And it was just,
Uh-huh.
I mean, you could hear, you know, wait a minute.
Was it crickets?
Let's see. I think I've got them. What?
Okay.
So, you know, it was kind of like, Gene, you know, I've had a great time at the Pro-Am. I've played with some Hall of Famers, and, you know, it's I'm really excited about this year's tournament.
Okay, Gene, thanks.
No, I think he knew. I think he knew my foot was hurting. That's what I'm telling myself because I feel like last year he told me I had a lifetime exemption to play.
Yeah,
In
I
golf,
think
that means you get to play.
I understood that myself, but okay.
So, just getting around right now is trouble for me. And I've been in the boot. If I'm in the boot, you have to drive me because it's my right foot. And I know this sounds like the old folks show, but we're getting kind of old now. But it's, I don't know if we're going to be involved at all or not. He did text me back and say, hey, do you need some media passes or whatever? But, I didn't even think about it. I have to work that day. So I've got to, I'd have to go and ask off. So I don't know that that's a day we need to burn right now.
What day of the week is it? I don't even know.
It's usually on a Thursday. Isn't it Wednesday or Thursday?
I think it's on a Wednesday.
Maybe it is. Maybe the tournament starts on Thursday because I think they play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they moved it 1 week back off Mother's Day weekend, which was a good idea, probably.
Yeah, probably.
But so I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. We're not, set up to go mobile. But parking is for us would be a handle because of my foot. Trying to get equipment out there. How am I going to record it? Am I going to use the handheld stuff or try to wire the cart up? If it's their cart, it's impossible for me to wire it up. I'd have to carry my own, and they don't like you having your own on their golf course. It's just kind of a quag sometimes.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's so much fun to see the people out there. I hate that, and I hate I'll miss the lemonade stand and all that good stuff.
Listen, we were at a tennis thing Monday in Birmingham, and I was already asked, were we coming? And I said, I'm not really sure. We may not, and I told her about your foot trouble and whatever. And she said, so I guess you're not coming to the lemonade stand. I said, well, I guess not if we're not there.
Well, and the problem,
I hate it, though.
You miss a year, you're forgotten about. You never get another call. And, nobody
Well,
else.
that's what you should have rallied, Bill. Got that foot going.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the Achilles doesn't rally. Yeah. You can't out tough it. It's going to win,
You should have got that wiring going on that golf cart, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, something. It's always something.
Yes, yes, it is.
So we're just in total disarray here. As Ruby Sue, our dog, comes in looking at us like, why are y'all in here doing this?
Yeah, she's wondering why I'm not out there playing with them. She likes to throw the donut.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she'll chase the donut, that's for sure. So I don't have any really good answers on region. I'm going to have to work on that. I'm going to have to see what's
isn't
up.
it next week? Isn't it like next Wednesday? Or?
No, I think it's the weekend after, or the week after Mother's Day.
Oh, okay.
So we got a week or
I
two.
thought it was next week or something.
We'll be working on it. We'll try to figure out something. But between my truck being broke and
that's a good one.
Yeah, they called today and they've replaced a module. They think that's working, but now the alternator is not doing what it's supposed to do. It's already been replaced once, but it wasn't with the official part. Jimmy Jam and all that stuff. So that continues. Hey, I'm down right now. I'm just down.
Always something.
I'm down, and I need an up. I need a win
and
somewhere. Somebody give me a win.
My cheerleading skills aren't what they used to be. You know,
well,
I'm trying.
You do. We could work on that. You could try.
Well, sometimes you just can't overcome. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'll tell you what.
Sometimes you just got to give it the old college try, Betty. Work your way through it. So that's kind of an update on everything. It's been a little crazy around here, and we're running a little bit behind. Good news, we have some new sponsors going to be coming on the podcast, and we have some interviews that I'm really excited about coming up, and one of them is going to be the girl that introduced us. So we'll get to tell that story again.
Sue?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, good deal.
You said she's coming by.
Well, yeah, not tonight, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean in the future. I'm promoting future podcasts.
Oh, yes. They're coming here probably the weekend after Memorial Day. Yeah.
Well, we'll get. She's a lot of fun, and
I
hate we have not stayed in better touch with it.
Yeah, I know.
But
it is what it is.
Everybody's running. I'm trying to readjust schedule and sleep, and get all that together. And right now, I feel like I'm being wrestled down by a bear. But we'll get there.
Well,
can you tell I'm down a little bit?
Because you're acting like that, I feel like I'm being wrestled down as well. So hey, thanks.
No, I'll just come back here in the Mellow Yellow studio and sit here and look at the walls, I guess, and lick my wounds. My truck being down that hurts because that's my staple of life for a guy.
Yep.
His truck. Got to have your truck.
Got to have the truck.
And your dog and your shotgun and a good country song.
She's licking my wound. I ran into the sharpest edge of the dishwasher the other day.
Yeah, that's a nasty.
I've got a nasty. I really do. But she loves to lick my wound.
Well, I don't know that I'd let the dog lick it.
No,
this
I'm
time of
trying
year,
not to.
it's not dog days yet.
I'm sorry, Ruby. It's not dog days.
That's right. Come mid August, lick away. Heal right up.
She's looking at me like, why do you have that thing on your head?
Yeah, I know you don't usually talk to me with that funny headset on.
Oh, me.
We've got a lot going on. We have several more good interviews scheduled. We have, oh my goodness, we have quite a collection of 308 Big Lake that you're going to enjoy in some of the coming episodes.
I have enjoyed listening to those calls.
Yes, they are always entertaining. Please keep them coming and keep those emails coming. Betty, thank you for joining me here in the Mellow Yellow studio. We will update you on all these strategies from the first world that the buses are having, and hopefully we will get a handle on it soon. I know nobody else has these kind of problems, right?
Oh, I'm sure everybody has problems.
Well,
some more, some less.
I can get through any of them as long as I'm with you, Betty.
Well, I'm here.
I got you, babe. I got you, babe.
Okay, Sonny and Cher, we are not.
Right.
But anyway.
All right. Thank you for joining me. And we will be right back with a closing segment of Bubba on the Lake.
You're listening to Bubba on the Lake. Hit me bad. A production of Intergalactic Pants and Tees.
All rights reserved.
When you need urgent care, Southern Immediate Care is here for you. Illness doesn't follow a 9-to-5 schedule, so we offer support 7 days a week at convenient locations throughout Birmingham and Northeast Alabama, dedicated to serving all ages from children to adults. Southern Immediate Care offers occupational medicine services, including DOT physicals and testing. At Southern Immediate Care, your health is our top priority. Visit southernimmediatecare.com or call 205-409-2794.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp. Refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Well, folks, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Bubba on the Lake. I want to thank all of my guests, Stuart Brockwell, the tech guy, Gene Hallman, Mr. Sports, and, of course, the lovely Betty Lou, my life partner of almost 36 years. Can you believe it? And for those of you worried that I'm not on my game or everything going on has got me down, I will be fine. I will find some peanut M&Ms and a Mellow Yellow, and I'll be good. So we'll bounce back from that. Like I said, we have several really good interviews coming up. I'm going to try to get an interview with Greg Sykes, the athletic director at Jacksonville State, on all that's been going on with the NIL and the transfer portal. There's a lot of changes happening with that. There's a big settlement they're trying to get through, and Congress is involved. And I mean, you need a spreadsheet to keep up with it. It is something else. So we're going to try to get him on. I've also had a lot of questions about what I'm doing at Jack State, and I'll try to give you a good answer to that. I'm really enjoying that. and I'll clue you in on it possibly on the next show. As I mentioned, 308 Big Lake, the message line, please keep those coming. We'll review more of those. And as always, we need you to subscribe, or that is subscribe in most states. Turn on notifications. We want you to follow us on all the social media pages, including Instagram and, of course, YouTube. We appreciate you guys being along for the ride with us, and we will continue to keep this thing pointed into the wind as we continue Bubba on the Lake. Until next time, take care and God bless.
This podcast is brought to you by Coke, Am First, Buffalo Wild Wings, Southern Immediate Care, Ann's Quilts, Guaranteed Labels, Central State Bank, and Sunrise Docks.
Hey, it's Bubba, hey, Bubba, Bubba on the lake. This is Bubba, hey, Bubba, Bubba on the lake. Yeah, he's got it going on. Gotta come and check this. Talking people, talking places from Bubba's perspective. This is Bubba, hey, Bubba on the lake. Hey, Bubba, yeah, Bubba on the lake. Let's go.
Are y'all still listening? That's it. That's the end of the podcast. Go to the next episode or go back and review the others. That's it. Good night. Thank you for listening. But that's all. That's the end.